Hello, beautiful people. So I wanted to talk about a couple things. Tomorrow is World Day of Destruction. It's what Hamas is calling for. So Cindy's going to talk tonight about fasting and praying tomorrow. But I just ask that everyone be in prayer because there's so much going on in Israel that's very serious, and we need to make sure that we are praying and covered in prayer. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, the Lord really put in my spirit about single people and married people. If you are single and you are not seeking the Lord first and marriage is an idol, you are doomed from the start in your relationship. You have to be one with the Lord before you focus on being equally yoked with someone else, because you're growing and you're sharing yourself with a person who two broken people, when they find each other as they heal, have noticed that they wouldn't have chosen each other as mates. So while you're healing, growing, and learning and getting closer to the Lord will work on you to be the right wife or husband for your future spouse. So if you want your Boaz, or you want the Proverbs 31 wife of noble character, and you're not that person they need to or they deserve, then you're not ready, and that's just going to have to be okay with you. That it is better to be single than to be married to someone that's not your partner, that's not your true partner, that's not equally yoked with you, because it's much harder. So in this season of singleness, focus on the Lord and get closer to Him, and He is faithful and just, and He will take care of you. But if you make marriage your idol, you are doomed from the start. I am happily married, but marriage is hard. And you can do whatever you want as a single person. I have to confirm with my husband and make sure that the Lord has told him the same thing the Lord has told me. And we have to make sure that we honor God first and then each other. And it is much harder with a person. Doesn't mean that it's not beautiful. It is. But it's very important that in the season and the time is running out, right, that we are honoring the Lord. So be okay with being single, because if you are single and you're honoring the Lord and you're getting closer with Him, you're fulfilled with true things. If you're focused on, well, I'm not married yet and I'm getting too old and I need to have babies and I have to have all these things on this timeline, who gave you that timeline? You gave you that timeline. Tone it down. Okay? Not trying to be mean. This is nothing but love. But no one gave you a timeline. Look at the biblical baby holders, right? Like having babies like when they're old, right? We don't know when the appointed and the anointed are. We just know that God wants a relationship with you first, and we can't put marriage as an idol. So it's very important that we honor and love the Lord first. Seek Him with all of your heart. If you seek Him with all your heart, then He may bring you your Boaz. He may bring you your Proverbs 31 wife of noble character. And I'm telling you, it's hard, but it's beautiful when done right. My ex-husband and I were unequally yoked. We have a daughter. Now she suffers. She's the one that has to go back and forth. She has to do all the things. It's not fair to bring other people in a relationship when you're not healed, when you're not ready, and when the Lord told you no. I have a friend who went on a date and she didn't ask the Lord first, and then, feelings got involved, and then it was clear cut. The red flags were in, right? It's important to go seek God in everything you do. Don't make marriage an idol. Don't make a timeline an idol. Oh, well, if I don't have a baby by the time I'm 38, that's not good. Says who? Who told you that? Did God tell you that? Because I'm going with whatever God said. Marriage is a beautiful thing. We got to honor God first. The triangle, right? You honor God, and then your husband's on one side of the triangle, your wife's on one side of the triangle, okay? If you are working on actionable steps to get closer to the Lord, when you get at the top of that triangle, you're one. If your husband or wife is down here and you're up here, you're getting closer to the Lord, you keep praying and interceding. Sometimes the other spouse keeps going, and then something will happen. You may end up down here, and then they'll pick you up, and you get closer to the Lord together. When you bring another person into a relationship and you don't put God first as your foundation, it's fire, doomed from the start. So being single is a beautiful thing. Being single offers you the opportunity to seek the Lord first and be fulfilled in the right way before you add a person to the mix. Being married is a beautiful thing when you're equally yoked. Something beautiful about being in the right marriage. But if you do it because you're lonely, or if you do it because of the wrong reason, fire, not of God. So in this season, let's not play God. In season, let's get closer to the Lord, and God will direct your steps. And be in prayer all day today and tomorrow, because we don't know what's going to happen. But I know that I fear not, for God is with me. It says fear not in the Bible 365 times. That's one for each day. And I believe that God's going to do something with this. I believe God's going to do amazing things. But there's a lot going on in the supernatural right now. We've been warring all night. So if you're real spiritual, if you understand what that means, we need to armor up and be ready. We need to make sure that we're praying and interceding and standing in the gap for the people in Israel. We need to make sure we're praying for our country. So I love y'all. I hope this is a word for someone right now. But if you are single, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. But if you make marriage an idol, if you make dating an idol, if you make having to have someone an idol, have to have children, have to do these things as an idol, you're adding fire. God first. Work on yourself first. God will reward you with the right things at the right time. But if you want, and this is just one more thought, if you're single and you want a man or a woman or whatever, and you aren't right, your partner is waiting on you to get right with the Lord, because God wants them to have the best too. So what are you waiting on? I love you. God bless you. Be in prayer.